close do I think we are to the rapture? Well, if I am to believe that we are supposed to be gone as a body, removed out of the way before the release of the Antichrist, then I can look at the Middle East, prophecies being fulfilled there, the Psalm 83 being set up, and the absolute sheer chaos that's going on in Europe right now. I know we are this close. I mean, we're literally that close. For decades, Islam has been allowed into Europe. And through this process, these absolute liberal, lunatic, moronic people have allowed their children to be raped. There are literally thousands in some of these cases of children being gang programmed, grooming to become sex slaves, basically to be shipped everywhere. In some areas, thousands of kids. And that's what Tommy was reporting on. How this culture was being shepherded into their countries, knowing that these people were not going to mix in with the culture. They were going to stand aside and sooner or later have their own Sharia court, Sharia law, where infidels can be just turned into sex slaves. Their knife attacks have grown by 20 or 30% now. And I can see these different areas of the world. The China Sea confrontation, North-South Korea, Middle East, Europe. I see all these areas where chaos is slowly being built up to where it hits a breaking point. And I think it's actually going to start in Europe. Once this conflict begins there, where the Europeans are going to collectively fight against Islam in their countries, you're going to see a chain of events take place. You're going to see other countries start going to war. You're definitely, if Europe's going to be busy doing this, and America's got our own problems, whether we're hit by a tidal wave or a big earthquake or whatever it is that removes us from the world power scene, Israel's going to have to stand alone, because there's not going to be anyone that's going to be capable of backing them up. There's a whole war going on. And that's what I think Psalm 83 is, a worldwide war against Islam. And it won't be the last one. But this one, God will let his children fight them off and kill them, the surrounding first-tier enemy countries. The Gog-Magog war will be, Ezekiel 38:39, God's going to take him on. God's going to kill him off. And when that's done, radical Islam, or fundamentalist Islam, is going to be over with. It's going to be done. You're just going to have the fake Islamic people that will, even though they still take over countries, they do it through population and not through violence. Well, radical Islam, or fundamentalist Islam, uses violence. So how close do I think we are? I mean, really. The Antichrist, I can see the situation being set up worldwide. And I'm watching what's happening in Europe with the rest of this Tommy guy. He's the one that started the ball rolling against Islam. And then the liberal retards are up here in the positions of power that are child molesters, perverts of the worst order, are running this. And I tell you now, the forces of Antichrist put them in power, whether they believe in Antichrist or not. Now, once the Antichrist is done using his tools, he just casts them aside. The vast majority will be destroyed. I can guarantee you, something happens to him in prison, or if they have managed to catch on videotape a gang rape of an 11-year-old, that region will explode, and they will drag them liberal people out of their offices, out of their homes, out of their chairs, out into the street to suffer the same fate that they inflicted upon their populace. Some liberal judge that's female does something crazy, will be dragged out and raped until she's dead, or murdered, or set on fire, or whatever. It's coming. The pre-tribulation rapture is almost here. I can see it. The Antichrist is about to be released to help go to war, to conquer. Revelation chapter 6 verses 1 and 2. He's not going to have no arrows, but he has a bow, so he's going to be doing something. He's not coming to bring peace, he's coming to bring the war, to bring him into power. Alright, bye.